Chelsea book a place in the FA Cup final for a third consecutive season after seeing off Crystal Palace in the semi-final stage. Watch until the end of this review to hear all of my thoughts on yesterday's match. Hello people, welcome to my channel, welcome to another video. This is my review of the match that took place yesterday afternoon at Wembley Stadium in the FA Cup semi-final between Chelsea and Crystal Palace, which Chelsea ended up winning by 2-0. So what I'm going to do for you guys in terms of this review is that firstly, I'll run you guys through the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of yesterday's match against Crystal Palace in the Emirates FA Cup semi-final. I will then be giving you guys my thoughts on the match itself, and yes, I'll be breaking it down into the first half and the second half, and as well as this, I'll be giving you guys the positives and the negatives that I took from the match, and lastly, I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on Chelsea's upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place this Wednesday at Stamford Bridge against Arsenal, with kickoff at 7:45 p.m. UK time. So without further ado, let's get straight into this review. So we shall begin this review by taking a look at the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of yesterday's Emirates FA Cup semi-final against Crystal Palace, and of course we're going to begin by talking about the formation that he chose. And in the case of the lineup that was fielded at the start of yesterday's match against Crystal Palace, it was a 3-4-1-2. And in terms of the personnel that Thomas Tuchel chose, he went with Edouard Mendy in goal. The back three was made up of Reece James in the right centre-back position, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was not expecting that whatsoever, but that was what Thomas Tuchel went with. In the centre of the back three, it was Andreas Christensen, and the left centre-back was Antonio Rudiger. So that was the back three that started yesterday's match. The four just in front of the three and behind the one was Cesar Azpilicueta, who was stationed in the right wing-back position, Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic in the two central midfield positions, with Marcos Alonso in the left wing-back position. So that was the four just in front of the three and behind the one. And in terms of the one just in front of the four and behind the two, it was Mason Mount. And the front two were Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. So that is the lineup that Thomas Tuchel fielded at the start of yesterday's match against Crystal Palace in the Emirates FA Cup semi-final. Now I am going to run you guys through my thoughts on the match itself. And yes, we're going to begin by getting into my thoughts on the first half. And I have to say that Crystal Palace did make a good start to the match. They looked the more threatening of the two sides in the early exchanges. They had more of the ball, and they did make it very hard for us to break them down. And that was aided by the fact that they matched our formation, which meant that they were able to go man for man and set traps for us, which they did really well in the first half. There were very few chances for either side in the first half, although as the first half went on, I have to say that Crystal Palace just got better and better, because they could have scored in the first half through CHECRY after the ball came into the box and he got a shot off. It was a great volley, but it went just wide of the post, and I think it went out for a corner. But anyways, that was the best chance of the match up to that point, and easily the best chance in the half. Yes, we did have a few shots from distance, but they didn't really test Jack Butland whatsoever. And in all honesty, in the first half, we looked very lethargic in the middle of the park, which is something you won't hear me say often, given that our midfielders are pretty energetic. But yes, we looked very lethargic in the middle of the park. We did not move the ball quickly enough, which made it easy for Crystal Palace, or easier for Crystal Palace to defend against our attacks, and it was very frustrating. So overall, not a great first half. And I've had to paraphrase that because it was not a great first half whatsoever. But in terms of the second half now, um, we got better. And yes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek did have to come on for Mateo Kovacic due to an ankle injury. And um, yes, in the first half when he came on, he wasn't great. But in the second half, he was immense. He got the opening goal, which I'll get into in a second. But the way he was driving with the ball was it was great to see, and it was causing Crystal Palace problems in the second half. And in terms of the goal he scored, it was an absolute blinder. The ball came into the box. Ruben Loftus-Cheek was inside the box, and he managed to hit the ball really sweetly, and it did take a slight deflection off of Mark Gurhey, I think it was, but it flew into the back of the net, and it's Ruben Loftus-Cheek's goal because that shot was definitely going on target. Let's be real. But yes, it was a glorious hit by him, and it's his first Chelsea goal in almost 3 years. And with the way he's chipped in recently, he deserves a goal, and hopefully he builds on it and keeps getting more goals because we need we need him to get back into the sort of form that he was in when he was last in the first team um, a few years ago under Maurizio Sarri. But yes, it was a great hit by him, and with the way the second half was going, I have to say that you can argue that we deserved it, but Crystal Palace, they'll probably feel hard done by because they did play really well up to that point and they did have chances in the second half, let's be honest. And I'll get into those chances that they had shortly. But yes, that was the opening goal. The second goal did come 10 minutes after that, and it came through Mason Mount. Timo Werner got the ball in a really advanced position. He saw Mason Mount in the box. He passed it to him. He caressed it. He didn't drill it at him. Otherwise, it would have been hard for him to control. But yes, he passed the ball to him really nicely. And Mason Mount then just took the ball into his stride and just fired it into the bottom corner. Yes, Jack Butland did get a hand on it, but there was enough power on it. There was enough pace on the shot for it to go into the back of the net. And that was the winning goal. Crystal Palace did have some chances. The most notable one was through Joachim Anderson, if I've pronounced his first name correctly, but you guys know who I'm on about, the ex-Fulham player. Anyway, he had a glorious chance from a Crystal Palace set piece. I can't remember if it was a corner or a free kick. I think it was a corner. I'll have to double check this one, but he he was as free as a bird in the box after the ball was moved on by one of the Crystal Palace players in the box, if I'm not mistaken, and he headed the ball over the bar, and he should have done better with that. He really should have been putting that in the back of the net, but thankfully he didn't. There was another piece of play that could have resulted in there was another piece of play that could have resulted in Crystal Palace generating a chance, where Jordan Ayew got the ball down their left hand side, and Benteke was in acres of space in the box, but he did not pass the ball to him for some reason, and we managed to get the ball away from um, the Crystal Palace attackers, which I have to say was quite surprising given the amount of space that was in the box at the time in which Jordan Ayew had. Sorry, I have to say it was quite surprising for Jordan Ayew to not pass it to Benteke given the amount of space that was in the box when Jordan Ayew had the ball. There we go. But yes, Crystal Palace did have some good chances to get themselves back in the game, but they just didn't take them. We could have scored a third, but honestly, I cannot tell you how we didn't. Romelu Lukaku came on and he had a glorious chance to do exactly that, but he hit the post and he really should have scored that. It was a great chance. He also had another chance where the ball came in from the left hand side and he completely missed the ball. But yes, his confidence is shot. Yes, some of you are going to argue that He's just come back from an injury, but to miss from that close, there are no excuses. Whether you've just come back from an injury or not, no excuse. Especially when you consider that he's our most expensive player. But I'm not going to go in too hard on him. But yes, overall, we got the job done. No, it wasn't the prettiest, but we got the job done. We're in the FA Cup final. Hopefully, um, we play a lot better against Arsenal. Um, I know that probably sounds a bit disappointing. Um, okay, let me rephrase that. I know you're probably disappointed to hear me say that, but hopefully we do play better against Arsenal because I really want us to beat them, given the way their fans have been talking about us since Roman Abramovich got sanctioned. But anyways, that's for another day. In terms of the positives and the negatives that I took from the match, two positives, one negative. The first of the two positives that I took was that Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Mason Mount, and Timo Werner were the standout players for me. All three of them were brilliant. Um, Timo Werner did get the Man of the Match award, and deservedly so. He chipped in, he could have scored, but he didn't, but he still got an assist. So fair play to him. He had a really good game. He was easily the best player on the pitch for me. And the other two were also really good. And it was great to see Ruben Loftus-Cheek get on the score sheet, as well as Mason Mount. So hopefully all three of them continue playing the way they've been playing recently, because all three of them have been absolutely brilliant in our last few games. But yes, hopefully they build on it. But that's the first positive that I took from the match. The second of two positives that I took from the match is that we got the job done. And it's always a good sign if you can get the job done without playing at your best, which we weren't yesterday. We did not play at our best yesterday, let's be honest, but we still got the job done, and that's a great sign. And let's move on to the negative, which I took from the match. And the only negative that I took from the match was that the first half was below standard, and I've touched on this already, so I'm just going to leave it as um, I'm just going to leave it as that. But yes, that is it for my thoughts on yesterday's match. Please, guys, do drop your thoughts down below, and I'll do my very best to respond. As always, let's move on. Now, to end this review, I am going to give you guys my thoughts on Chelsea's upcoming Premier League fixture that will be taking place this Wednesday at Stamford Bridge against Arsenal, with kickoff at 7:45 p.m. UK time. Yes, this fixture was moved to this Wednesday because, of course, the game was meant to take place on the 12th of February, but we were we were taking part in the Club World Cup final on that day, so obviously the game against Arsenal had to be moved. But in terms of my thoughts on this game, we have to win. We absolutely have to win, and I really do hope that we win, because I've heard a lot of nonsense from Arsenal fans since Roman Abramovich got sanctioned, and the club have been in this mess off the pitch. So hopefully we get the job done, and best believe that if we do, I'll be rubbing it in. But yes, hopefully we get the job done. I'm looking forward to it. Um, Hopefully the players get the job done. We need the 3 points. We need to win at home, because of course our last Premier League game at Stamford Bridge was that embarrassing 4-1 defeat to Brentford, and we can't drop any more points, otherwise we will weaken our position in third place. Um, but yes, hopefully we beat Arsenal. I will be doing a preview for that. There is a chance that I'll be doing some opposition previews, but I'll keep you updated on this one. And maybe a combined 11. Again, I'll keep you updated. But yes, that's all I can give you for now. And I'll see you very soon. Come on, you Blues. Come on, Thomas Tuchel. And peace.